welcome back to my channel, and today is cooking with Jennie. So in this video I will be showing you guys how I make my salmon and potato and green beans today. So let's take a moment and look at this. Look at this fish. Yo, I don't care what anybody have to say, my fish is fire. It's the bomb and it's amazing. So yeah, enough of that. So I started out by prepping already the day before. So I have purchased my potatoes. I already washed the potatoes, so I will be cutting them to the size that's best suit for me. So I'll do that and just chop them up to small pieces. And looking at this video, it looks like I'm about to cut my finger or something, but I've been cooking for a while, so I kind of know what I'm doing. So don't worry, I did not cut myself and I will not cut myself. So yeah, make sure I got all my potato cut perfectly fine. And I don't like the little black part that I be seeing on the potato, so I always make sure I cut that out. And yeah, so after I finished with cutting my potatoes, I ended up putting them in the pot and add some water and salt. So let's finish with the last piece of potatoes. And this little black pot would be annoying. Add some water, like I've already mentioned. And I'll add some salt, and I will be cooking these potatoes. I'm not making mashed potatoes, so I don't need it to be all the way done. So after I got my potato cooking, I got me a pot, add some oil. I use grapeseed oil, and you can't see that, but I also use some garlic, minced garlic. I sometimes would chop my own garlic, but it takes a while and that's very convenient, so I use that instead. So I had a good amount of portion of garlic in there, and I knew I was gonna need some onions, so I had chopped some onion earlier. So I add some onions in that, and like I have mentioned, I'd already put salt in the potato before while I boil it, so I didn't need to add too much of salt afterward. So I let that baby cooked all the way. I cooked it on low because I wanted the onions to cook really well, so I didn't have to taste that little flavor in my mouth. You know, I'm not a big onion fan, but hey, I still eat it when I make certain things. And I did the little check method, press on my onion, notice that it cooked, and I get the little sniff around like, yo, that smells good. So pour in my potatoes, and I'm about to put some seasoning in. I use some onion powder and garlic powder in that, and also use some Creole seasoning. You can't go wrong with those. So yeah, and after I did all that, I normally sometimes I also would put, after I'm done cooking my potatoes, or I either put it in the pan and put it under the oven so it can actually bake a bit, so you have the extra crispiness. But I wasn't going for that this time because I wasn't doing it for just to eat today, so it wasn't like a big deal. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I had turned up the volume low a little bit, so I'll let that baby cook, marinate really well, and start with the next thing that I'll be doing. So, and which is the fish. I had cleaned the fish already, and I got that at Walmart, and I bought like this little bag. I think it was like $10 or something. It was very cheap, so can either get that or the other piece. I like the first salmon, but that one is not terrible. And I add some butter on the pan before I put my fish in there because I didn't want it to stick. So I did add some butter all around, then put on the fish in there before I add the seasoning on top. Like, let's take a minute for me because apparently I look thick. So but yeah, so after that, like most of the seasoning that I use, they don't have a lot of salt in them because we don't really need all that extra sodium. So yeah, I did put some lime juice on top of them because I like my fish to not smell fishy, you know. And And like I mentioned, all the season I use are very low on salt, so I like my fish to have flavor, my food to have flavor, but that doesn't mean they have to be salty. So I have put some cayenne pepper, added some onion and garlic powder in there. Like, I went crazy with the garlic, y'all. I like garlic. And I end up adding a dash, and that's also like just the flavor. There's not many salt in there. And of course the onion powder, you need that too, extra flavor. And then we'll be adding the all pepper seasoning, allspice. That's also low on the sodium. The only pretty much salt I added was from the seasoned salt, like I'm about to put in right now, because you need a little bit of salt, but not too crazy. But I had just enough that I needed because I like flavors. And you can't forget the cayenne pepper spice. Oh yeah. And before I bake that, I end up putting some butter on top of it because I didn't want it to come out being really dry. Just I have to eat that for the rest of the week, pretty much every day for a week. So I add some extra butter on top of it, and before I put that in the oven. So yeah, it looks pretty good so far. And yo, my thighs are like thick. Like some serious shit. But I waste no butter, so I put all that in there. And of course make it look cute. Add some lime. And before I bake it. And then we start with the next thing, which is the green beans. Some oil, some garlic again. And let that baby cook for a little bit. And we're gonna add my green beans in it. And you add the greens. Then for that, I didn't use a lot of seasoning for the green beans. I only added like some onion powder and some seasoned salt, because like I don't really see the need to have another extra, of course the cayenne. And one thing with my green beans, like I don't like it to be all the way done, you know, like to be all soggy. So I like my green beans to still be crunchy when I eat it. So I have mixed all that up, and I let it cook for a bit, and I cover it up and let it steam, you know, so it get all the extra juicy, and also when you eat one, it's crunchy but also juicy. So this is the fish afterward, because it's already looking pretty good, and I will be showing you guys how the plate look like afterward. And the greens look juicy, they did. And the potatoes. And that's pretty much all I made. It didn't really take me long to do, so you don't need a lot of money to meal plan for yourself. So this is what I will be eating for the week. Of course, I have a shake in the morning with oatmeal, also at nighttime after the workout, but I'll share that with you guys some other time. So thank you for watching. I will see you guys on my next video.